It's another day in the fish room. I'm mostly going to be moving all the rice fish over onto this new rack here. Probably try to put it that they're all in this row. And we'll be rescaping this 20-gallon here that I kind of just let go and let the algae take over, just because I knew I was going to be redoing it. We have a bunch of angelfish coming in. We got some in from the wholesale order that we just got, and I also ordered some on eBay and Aquabid. And I think, long term we'll probably have them grow out in this tank, and then I'll move them to the 75, one of these 75s that I have over here, and kind of make a mixed angelfish tank, and then kind of have my pairs going like I do right now in these 20s. So there's two reasons why I want to move the rice fish over. The first one and original reason was because I wanted to be able to see them from both the side and top-down view, and I can do that at this angle. But now the most important reason, and the reason that kind of pushed me to do it, was I believe that the top rows are getting too warm for the rice fish. I checked the temperature. It's kind of nearing the end of summer right now, but it's been really hot, and the top tanks are running 80 degrees consistently. Rice fish, I'm sure, can handle in a pond if the pond gets to 80 degrees at some point, and then it lowers at night. The fish room is the same temperature usually, so it's getting a little warm for them. And I think when it stays at 80 long term, we're having issues. So if you remember in one of the last videos, we moved all the mops, and these were supposed to be filled with fry at this point. The only ones that did really well were the Miyuki strain. You can see we have a ton of fry here. We have some fry of the Lemays, but we don't have any fry of the other two strains. And when I moved the red cap kois down low here, they were struggling in their other tank, and I couldn't figure out why. And I moved them here, and they're doing really great. It's a bottom tank, so it's a lot cooler. I'm assuming that's the issue, because looking at my other strains of rice fish, the ones that didn't breed really well, they're struggling as well. And all the rice fish are struggling, so I'm assuming that's what the issue is. So you can see the Miyukis here. They're doing okay. They're doing the best out of all of them right now. And then the Lemays are just they're not thriving. I don't see them carrying eggs in the morning anymore. And I let the snails get out of control because we weren't focusing on breeding. Normally I wouldn't have this many snails in if I was trying to breed. But some of them seem to be struggling. I've treated for parasites, I've treated for bacterial infections, I even put a little salt in. So I don't think they're sick, I'm guessing it's the heat. But we're gonna move them over and see if they do better. We got all the rice fish moved, and so far they're acting better. I can see a difference in their behavior, which is great. We have the black ones in the back there that don't look so black right now because they were just moved recently. But these guys are cool because they have a black line on the top of them, on top of the dark body. You can kind of see it there. Doesn't really come up on camera that well. But then we have the orange Lemays in here. These are the ones with the sparkle on the body. These are one of my favorites. And when I was moving these guys, I found fry in the tank with them. So there was 2 fry that managed to grow up with the adults that didn't get eaten. Can't find them right now, but I know they're in there. The Miyukis, which are like a platinum, except they have like a glow to them, and their fins are a little different. You can see that one has longer fins. Here we've got the blue-eyed lemon bristlenose plecos munching down on some rapashi. Had I known I was going to make this rack rice fish, I would have put them on a different row, but that's alright. They look really cool. I like feeding these guys because of the way they swarm that rapashi. And these are the platinums. Then we also have the red cap kois down low that are a little shy. We have the red cap kois here. I have them on the very bottom because they're meant to be top-down view only, just because the patterns they have, you can't even tell they have them from the side view. That one turned fully orange. But from the top-down view, you can see the nice patterns. While I was working, I got the order that I ordered from Aquatic Arts. I've ordered a bunch of times from them. The only downside to them is that you need to pay for express shipping all the time. But they usually have a wide variety of things, and I usually order, more than one thing, and kind of makes it worth it with the shipping. But these guys were on a super sale, and I couldn't say no, and I got a really good deal on them, even with the shipping. These are those Peruvian Altum Angelfish. They look to be a good size. They were described to be a little smaller, so I'm happy that they're a lot bigger. We got 9 of these. All seem to be doing really well. Let's get them in their tank. We have the angelfish here in their quarantine tank. I use the Aquarium Co-op Med Trio to quarantine everything that comes in. And they'll be in here for maybe a week or two, maybe a little less, just because this is a 10-gallon. I thought they were going to be smaller. They came in larger, which I'm happy about, but I don't want to keep them in this 10-gallon for too long, even though the water is automatically changing and all that stuff. But I'll probably move them into a 20 pretty soon, and then eventually a 75, and hopefully start getting some pairs. I think that's the plan too for these blue marble angelfish. I really like these guys as well, and they're almost done with their quarantine. They need to move to a bigger tank in the next couple days. They're starting to get a little aggressive with each other, so I'm assuming that means that they're comfortable. They've been eating really well, but I think I'm going to start cranking out angelfish with my store opening up. I think if I produce a lot of angelfish, I can overflow some of those to the store and kind of provide my own store with locally bred angelfish instead of wholesale ones. Something cool that I found was this Pathos plant that's been growing in this 75 for a long time. You can see the nice root structure that it has. I wanted to kind of go around the room like that plant. I wanted to go around the pipes here. So I've been waiting for it to grow, and it's been growing. But I wasn't paying attention to it for like a week or two, and I should have filmed it before I removed it, but the plant actually grew up in between the rack here. So you can see this part here, the little hooks that it created, evenly spaced, were actually hooks. Well, it's not hooks, it's roots, I guess, that were hanging evenly in each one. So I thought that was really cool. You can see how long it's gotten. I was able to get the plant all the way up to the top. So that's great that it's long enough now to reach the top there and start growing that way. And the root system is really good for what I have planned for this tank in the future. If you've been following since the beginning, you know that we have plans to completely redo this tank and move along the fish that are in here. But because of everything with the quarantine, that kind of put everything on hold. You can't really bring anything to an auction. I was going to donate them to my club auction and just have them find new homes that way. But for right now, we're just waiting for an opportunity to do that. But some fish that I was able to rehome were the fish in here, which were the Dumbo ear red tail guppies, the entire colony. A viewer was nice enough to meet up with me and take the whole colony, and they're going in a nice 75 gallon, so they'll be much happier there versus in this 20 gallon. Figured I'd share some of the breeding colors of the Bozeman-eye rainbow fish, the Gary Lang strain. I put a spawning mop in here. I'm testing out to see if I could breed these guys in their display tank without having to stress them out, catch them, throw them in a smaller tank with a mop, and wait for them to spawn and then throw them back in here. I think it just stresses them out too much. They definitely don't show their best colors when I do it that way. They're showing really good color right now. You can tell why I love rainbow fish so much. Catching them with their true colors like this male right here is just stunning. And I know that these guys are getting popular on the website, so I'm testing ways to breed them that the best way for the fish. I don't want to have to keep these guys in a 20 for a long time and crank them out that way. The other fish in here will probably eat the eggs on this mop, but I'm testing it out. I hope it works out, and that'll be easier for me, and it'll be easier for the fish. In the middle of scaping here, and I think I'm going to go with Pathos Octopus. I'm messing with the Manzanita in here, but I think I decided to take out this Madagascar lace plant and use it somewhere else. You can see the bulb right there. Nice roots, and we got nice long leaves. And it's supposed to have the holes in there like that. I think that looks really cool. It's a cool plant. I just don't think I'm going to use it in this scape. I'll probably find space for it somewhere else. So this is the final look here. You can see I changed my mind about what fish were going in here. I decided to put the white Moscow or snow white guppies in here. The plants we went with were dwarf Sagittaria in the front and the Pathos Octopus in the back. You can see we still have the reticulated hillstream loaches in here that probably preferred it the other way with the rocks for them when I was trying to breed them in here. Unfortunately, I just don't have the space right now and the patience to dedicate 20 gallons to them to try to have them reproduce. I'd rather have these guys reproduce in here because in the United States we just can't find the females. You can find the males at Petco, but you can't find the females. And we got the Manzanita wood that I kind of just laid to make it look natural, like it's kind of on the river floor or something like that. Because I want these guppies to do really well, I think I'm going to add an auto feeder. And with the auto feeder, I think I'm going to make this tank also the tank that I purposely reproduce red ram's horn snails. And I kind of discovered the setup that I'm enjoying over here in the red ear koi guppy tank. You can see we have the auto feeder on here. And you can see the snails are really benefiting from the auto feeder as well. So we have snail explosion in here. And these guys are available on the website now just because I have so many, and their shells look really good. A lot of my tanks I have snails in and I don't pay attention to them at all, and I don't target feed them. And sometimes I get calcium deficiencies in the shells because the snails are just, they're cleaning up. They're not being fed. So in this tank I started feeding them on purpose, and they're eating some of the auto feeder food. And they're doing really well. You can see the blue. When they get bigger, they get a nice blue on them. And I think I'm going to do the same for the red ones as well, because the reds do look good if you take care of them. I just have them as pests in a lot of my tanks right now. While we're at this tank, looking at the guppies here, we have a lot of fry. And if you've been following that, we've been trying really hard to get fry. And looks like we got a lot growing up, which is great. But so far, none of them have the red ears. I have one male that's sexed out so far. I don't know if they all develop with the white in the middle and the red on the tail and top like a female, and then the males just color up differently. I also don't know if the red ears develop later. One of my strains of a Dumbo ear, they do develop the color a little later sometimes. And I'm hoping that's the case because so far none of them have the red ears. But if any of you guys have kept these before, let me know your experience. Let me know if they color up later or they don't breed true or anything like that. I'd appreciate it. That was another day in the fish room. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't, and we'll see you in the next one.